Senator Chuck Schumer, congratulations on being appointed or elected as the Senate Minority Leader for the Democrats. Your fellow Democrats have elected a person who believes in the denigration and abuse of women and little girls, as many of your colleagues also are involved in. Also, they have elected a senator whose state has stripped its citizens of both their federal and state constitutional rights, as well as their state statutory rights under the law. I'm sure they want to learn how to do the same. As documented on my website, every man, woman, and child currently in jail or in case of children in detention are illegally in jail. Every single one of them. They have been deprived of their constitutional rights by these family court judges. Their right to a public trial, their right to a jury trial, their right to a court of proper jurisdiction, their right to have a judge hear the matter, and several of the statutes that they rely on are patently in violation of either the New York State Constitution or the federal Constitution that I have fully documented on my website, Justice for New York. You ought to go look at it before you respond. Senator Schumer, let's not forget that New York State also strips our children of their rights when they're brought into the family court process. Their right, especially their right to a jury trial when they send them to detention until they're 18 or 21, depending on the different situations. The state of New York is also screwing divorced pensioners out of their New York State, their fair share, their rightful share of their New York State pension. It's fully documented on my website because of a ruling by the liberal Democrat Court of Appeals, which is now allowing these spouses to collect money earned after the divorce, when that is not marital property. Do you believe a person should be tried, convicted, and sentenced to jail in a closed court proceeding? It happens every day in New York. Do you believe a person should be denied their constitutional right to a jury trial? Happens every day in New York State. You're a lawyer. You're on the Judiciary Committee. Why don't you demand an investigation into the corruption and the deprivation of constitutional rights by the New York State family court system? I know you won't, because it's controlled by the Democrats. Judge Kaye, your fellow Democrat, has had several times that the right to a public trial, the right to a jury trial, the right to a court of proper jurisdiction, a right to have a judge hear the matter before somebody is in prison is not a substantial right in New York State. Are you of that belief also? I believe you are. Because you're a Democrat, and that's what the Democrats believe in. Now, you love to attack others who disagree with you with calling them racist because we disagreed with Obama. And that we're also deplorables. Before I start my presentation documenting the above, let's look at who has stripped the citizens of New York State of their both state and federal constitutional rights as well as their statutory rights. Let's start with Richard D. Simmons, appointed by liberal Democrat Mario Cuomo. He lied when I raised the issues of I was being deprived of my right to a public trial, a jury trial, a court of proper jurisdiction, and challenged, I think, 11 or 12 state statutes. In my appeal, I stated the only issue on appeal were the constitutionality of state statutes. Therefore, I could appeal directly to the Court of Appeals pursuant to the New York State Constitution. Judge Simmons ruled I raised other issues than the constitutionality of state statutes. Then I'm told I am not allowed to know what these other issues were that I raised. Fully documented on my website. In other words, somebody has to go through a closed court proceeding, a deprivation of their constitutional and statutory rights before they can get a ruling on it? That's malarkey. But this is what the liberal Democrats have done to New York State. Judge Judith Kaye, liberal Democrat, dismissed several appeals, not only mine but several others, on the ground that there was no substantial constitutional question involved. The issues raised both while the people were in jail or were facing imprisonment. They were denied their right to a public trial. They were denied their right to a jury trial. They were denied their right to have a judge make a determination of the matter and to hear the evidence. Those are not substantial rights, according to Judge Kaye, a fellow liberal Democrat. Judge Jonathan Lippman, another liberal Democrat. I filed a lawsuit against a company called Yodel, who, for all I know, well, I know they were recording my phone conversations illegally, which they told me they weren't going to do because they were going to use my phone number instead of their tracking number. They also ran a scam that's bilking millions, tens of millions of dollars out of small businesses. And I'm fined $100 by Jonathan Lippman because somebody is illegally recording my phone conversations? The federal Attorney General's office didn't want to hear about it. The FBI didn't want to hear about it. They don't care. So the only conclusion I can come to is the Obama administration using companies like Yodel to intercept and record phone conversations of all the people, or if they get them to agree to it, they can turn them over and they're happy, and if they don't, they just go ahead and do it anyway and turn it over. I wouldn't be surprised. It needs to be investigated. I've got a whole thing on Yodel. Read it on my website. Tell me where I'm wrong in my documentation. Tell me where I'm wrong about my right, about being deprived of people, litigants in New York State being deprived of their constitutional rights to public trials, jury trials. Kaye comes out and says, Kaye and Lippman, both of them. The family court is open to the public. Bull. Radical, liberal, Democrat lies. You guys wouldn't know the truth if you saw it. Now, you have stated that you are going to try to stop President Trump's nominations, especially Senator Jeff Sessions. I think the first thing Senator Sessions, when he comes Attorney General, should have a committee or several to investigate the corruption in New York State. That would be the place to start, especially with the liberal Democrats. You are trying to hold everyone to your and the Democrat standards. Let's look at your so-called Democrat standards. Your Democrats believe in the denigration of women and young girls. Right, Senator? Let me ask you a question and see how you can answer it. And no, Senator, it is not a trick question. There are three men, 1, 2, 3, standing in front of you. All three are naked. One is heterosexual, one is gay, one is transgender. Standing there in front of these three men, how do you know which is which? How can you tell which one is the heterosexual male, which one is the gay male, and which one is the transgender male? You can't. But you oppose the law in North Carolina and several others that says men have to use men's rooms and ladies have to use ladies' rooms. You oppose that. let me ask you this. And then you want that transgender males and transgender, how you can't tell which one is transgender among the males. That's something, so anybody can claim they're transgender. Can walk into a ladies' room, a girls' locker room, a woman's locker room and take their showers there. They can go in and take showers. How do you know which one of the three they are? By looking at them. You don't. So you tell me, you don't mind if your wife or one of your two daughters goes to the gym, they work out, they go into the ladies' locker room, they go to take a shower. You don't care if a male walks in there because you can't tell which is which and takes a shower with them. You have no problem with that at all. You have no problem with schools having boys walk into the girls' locker rooms if they claim they're transgender. I don't want my 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old daughter in a girl's locker room having a male come in and take showers with them in the nude. Is this how you get a thrill up your leg, Senator? It isn't very nice. Now, let me ask you this question. Why would your wife or your daughters want to have, they're at the gym, they work out, they go into the ladies' locker room to change and to take a shower. Why would they want a male to come in and join them? I don't think they would. But they haven't spoken out against it. What about girls at school? Males going in and taking showers with them. Which it sounds like to me, you liberal Democrats are trying to make all boys' rooms and girls' rooms unisex. In other words, you can use whatever you want. And anybody that would want to put children in that type of situation has a problem. And it's not me that has the problem. It's you for wanting to do that to little girls. Explain to me why you would want a girl in school, or a bunch of girls, they get done playing soccer or whatever they're doing, and they go back to the girls' locker room, take their showers and stuff. Or they're in the swimming pool and they get out to wash off, get all the chlorine off them, and there's males standing there ready to take showers with them because they are supposedly transgender. Tell me where my reasoning is wrong, Senator. Oh, and don't put that smile on your face. Every time I see you, you think you caught the canary. You know, I call it the shit-eating grin. You always get that big smile, that shit-eating grin on your face. That's how you know when you're lying. You Democrats believe in destroying this great country of ours. Just look at what has happened over the past 8 years. Our allies in Europe and the Middle East do not even trust us anymore. Gee, I wonder why. Obama has bent over backwards for all these radical regimes. Iran gives them billions of dollars. He treats our enemies better than he treats our friends. And he can't do enough for our enemies. He gives everything away to them. Why? Why aren't you standing up and saying anything? Look at what he's done to Cuba. We didn't get anything for opening relations, no freedoms or anything, and now he cuts off Cubans coming to this country, getting on the shores. They're going to get sent back there where they'll probably be prosecuted. Instead of they get here, they can stay here. You know, he screwed over them just like he screwed over Israel. You have you Democrats, especially Obama, writes all these things. You're destroying our businesses. People can't even open up businesses. More businesses closed in the United States today than ever in history. Just look at what's happened since Trump was elected. Sky market's gone up, everything. It wasn't the doom and gloom all of you predicted. These regulations have got to go. You're burying the businesses in it, but you don't care. You're trying to make the United States a socialist government. You Democrats also believe in destroying our national security. Let's look at Hillary Clinton's emails. One question has never been answered and has never come out. The question is, who was responsible for marking the top secret, the classified and top secret emails found on Hillary's computer? She's claimed, first she never sent or received any classified or top secret emails. Then she claimed nothing was marked for her. So that means, using her language, she was too stupid to know the difference between a regular email and a classified email. Great Secretary of State. Who was supposed to mark these classified emails that she sent before they were sent? Who was responsible for marking those emails that were sent to Hillary with classified or top secret on them? How did those emails, classified emails, get on Weiner's laptop or whatever that the FBI got? Well, that's really securing our government secrets. I'll tell you, Obama had to send her, he knew when he sent, well, under another name that he was using, to Hillary on her unsecured server, that she wasn't using a government issued, going through the government where it could be protected. He knew that. The other Democrats and his administration also knew when they were conversing with Hillary that they were unsecured servers. I've heard at least 5 different governments have hacked her unsecured server. Now, don't you find it amazing that they were able to hack the DNC? They were at Podesta's emails. They were able to get into Powell's emails. But they never, according to you Democrats, they never got into her unsecured server. That's a bunch of malarkey. That was being covered up by the FBI, Comey, and our intelligence services. They were there to protect Hillary Clinton and Obama because they're sending classified information to and from an unsecured server. They know it. That's why nothing has come out about it. Tell me where I'm wrong. Let's get a list out of who these emails were to and from, these classified and top secret emails. Won't do it because you don't want it out there. Of our security agencies and the other. How about Weiner having it on his computer? The reason the Justice Department and the FBI did not pursue it, this is because Obama is involved in it. Couldn't lay what happened on Obama's lap where it belonged. Why didn't you stand up or say anything when Hillary sold out our country for tens of millions of dollars to her, that were donated to her foundation? She got, what, $10 million for selling Russia 30% of our uranium? Other governments, I'll tell you, other governments paid tens of millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation. And what's funny is only 6% of that money actually went to the needy. The other 94% goes to the Clintons and their cronies. You don't have a problem with that. Why not? Making special deals for foreign countries that aren't in our best interests. But it was in Clinton's best interest because she got money. I will guarantee you, now that she's not running for president and has no more power, or very little, in Washington, I'll bet you anything her foundation isn't going to be taking in anywhere near the money that it was taking in. They were buying influence. You know it, and I know it, and everybody else knows it. That is, as I stated here, this is probably the only foundation that is going to go out of business because after Trump is sworn in as President of the United States. Yet, you're all worried about Eric Trump's foundation, where 98% of the money went to St. Jude's, or to other charities, but mostly to St. Jude's. He had a 2% administration costs. Whereas Hillary had the reverse. She kept 94%. He had 2%. I can understand the conflict of interest, that may be people donating to it for it. I'm not going to argue that. And that was a smart move on his place to close it down. But if you're going to squawk about him, which you liberal Democrats did, then you should be squawking about Hillary, because that was absolutely disgusting what she did. She was selling out this country, and you don't care. Benghazi, covered up by the Democrats, you fought it tooth and nail. 4 Americans died, and she claims it's because of a video? She knew that was a lie. You know it's a lie. Everybody knows it's a lie. It wasn't a spontaneous attack. It was set up. But lie, lie, lie. That's all you liberal Democrats know how to do. I think it's funny. You're all yelling at Trump now because he's talking with Vladimir Putin and trying to make him our friend. You had no problem when Hillary used that wonderful reset button that after he hit the button, he tells her she had the wrong wording on it. And I love the newspaper ad, or the newspaper article here. Trump may be a threat to national security. The threat to our national security was Hillary and Obama. With this illegal server, what they have done to our allies, how they promoted. Trump won the war in Iraq. Everything was starting to go right. Obama pulls everybody out, and you have ISIS rise. You claim Trump isn't experienced enough. What experience did Obama have? He was a recruiter. He was somebody that works out on the street. He hasn't run anything. Believe in destroying our military. Lowest level since World War II. Covered up what's happening in the VA. No accountability. What you guys have done, what the liberal Democrats have done running the VA and destroying these veterans who fought for this country. You're not doing anything. You put this guy in there, and he won't even appear before Congress to answer questions. How many people got fired because of this? None. Once you're a federal employee, you can't be fired no matter what you do. That's wrong. The illegals coming into this country are getting better health care because they can go to different places and it's covered. They get better health care than the VAs. Not only that, but all these illegals coming in from Mexico and all this are all bringing in diseases that were eradicated in this country. And they're starting to build their heads back up again that are affecting our children. Polio and a lot of other ones. They need to be vaccinated. But again, our military can pay for all the illegals coming into this country. Tell me, Senator, what would you have done with the VA hospitals? I'll tell you, this is my opinion. Government is never run efficiently. Never. Maybe until now, but hopefully Trump will change that. You'd be better off taking the money you would have for all these hospitals and everything else and buy the insurance for these vets. The health insurance. Pay the premium. And then they can go to they can go wherever they want. They don't have to go to the VA and wait 60 days or 90 days to see a doctor. Oh yes. Then you Democrats are always talking about free speech. But yet you refuse to allow those with different opinions to voice their opinions. Just look at what happens at different colleges around the country. A conservative is asked to speak. Next thing you know, the liberal Democrats want to shut them down. They don't want them there. They don't want to hear from them. They don't want anything. They don't want another opinion given out there that contradicts theirs. They're all myopic. They only want to see what they see. And what's the propaganda that's given to them. Half of them, just watch some of these shows. You ask them questions. They don't even know who Joe Biden is. They don't know anything. And yet they're college students or whatever. And then they're now calling for, like it was on the news yesterday, they want to boycott LL Bean because one of the owners of LL Bean donated to a Republican group that were acted on behalf of President Trump. They're trying to stifle free speech. In other words, you vote somebody else in than us, we're going to close your business. That's free speech in America, according to you liberal Democrats. You don't believe in free speech, except when it comes to yours. Are the Democrats? Oh yeah, what about Hillary? You're talking about Putin interfering with our elections, hacking the DNC and stuff. But then again, they didn't have much of a security on their system. The Republicans did. But you have no problems with the media giving Hillary Clinton the questions before the debates? Isn't that attempting to fix the debates by the liberal Democrats and the media? By giving out all the answers and letting Hillary suggest questions for her? Yeah, that's a real fair debate. But that's how you liberal Democrats operate. Are you using companies like Yodel to record business telephone conversations? Why is it being covered up and nobody wants to investigate? I'm fully documented on their illegal. I have the transcripts. The phone conversations provided by them. They can't claim they're false. They have them. Just look at the disease. You don't care about border. You want a free open border. You don't care how much drugs come across. You don't care how many illegal aliens come across. We can't afford to take care of our own. How can we afford to take care of all these other people coming into this country? And bringing with them whatever diseases and stuff that they have that have been eradicated in this country. You said absolutely nothing. Obama releasing 723 criminal aliens back on our streets in 1 year. Of those, right here, ICE released 19,000, 208 convicted of murder, 900 of sex crimes. They don't even get deported. He just puts them back out on the streets. You think that's good for Americans to have these criminals out on the street going after our families and stuff? Look at what's happening in Europe. I dealt with that in another tape. The rapes and everything else going on in Germany, and it's now out of control. After 2 years, it's out of control, they state. Only 1 in 10 actually gets arrested, and out of that, very few get convicted. It's covered up. It's got to stop. These people should not be allowed. And then they go to sanctuary cities. They commit more crimes, but no, you can't arrest them because they are illegal aliens. In other words, they have more rights than the American citizen does. They get more better health care than American citizens do, because not only do they get better, it's free. They don't have to pay for it. We pay for it. You voted against Kate's law that requires the deportation of criminal. And I mentioned criminal illegals. And heavy jail sentences if they come back into the U.S. after being deported. What's wrong with that? You keep making it sound like it's for all illegals, which you know damn well is an absolute falsehood. It's for criminal illegals, to get them out of this country. All 19,723 that were released in 1 year. The 208 murderers. Don't you think they should be deported, Senator? The ones that committed 900, and of a total, this is even better. Overall, those released into virtually every state and territory of America had a total of 64,197 convictions. That's 3.25 convictions per person. And this doesn't even include the crimes we don't know they did. Other crimes they did and they didn't get convicted for. Why do you want to put our citizens in this type of jeopardy? Why do the liberal Democrats want to do this? Tell me, Senator. It supported those who rioted in Ferguson and Baltimore. You go get out there, or a bunch of them, hands up, don't shoot. You let that perpetuate, even though you knew it was a total fabrication. Look at Baltimore. What happened there? The riots in both Baltimore and in Ferguson. Look at the businesses that were destroyed, that were burned out. The homes that were burned. How many are in the businesses that were looted? They just broke in, smashed everything, and grab and run out. They have them on tape. How many of these people were actually tried and convicted? Probably not many, because they all would vote Democrat. You believe in domestic terrorism. Democrats support the rioting, burning of businesses and homes, worse, the killing of police officers. Yeah, you'll give a little lip service here and there, but what have you actually done? You Black Lives Matter. You know, they're saying was pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. You don't protect our police officers. Look at what's happening in Chicago. 764 murders last year. Look at what Baltimore, all the major cities. And who runs these major cities? Liberal Democrats. You don't want, everybody's rights are protected. All these criminals' rights are protected. The citizens' rights are not protected. The right to have enjoyment, the pursuit of happiness. Those rights don't come out for you liberal Democrats. You know, the thing is, we know that statement is true because there were honest black people that came out and told what actually happened. But they were so fearful of saying anything in public, they wanted to be disguised. And the reason being is they were afraid of the left-wingers, these people that love to riot, that ship themselves into these situations in Baltimore, Ferguson and stuff, to help brew the pot. You Democrats support that. Because it gives you an argument for, let's have more gun control. That's what you're saying in Chicago. Chicago has the strictest gun laws in the United States. With the strictest gun laws, you would think they would have the lowest murder rate. Instead, it has the highest murder rate. What does that tell you, Senator? Your gun control laws are only aimed at the average American citizen. The average American that likes to hunt and do all different things. You go after them. But you don't go after the criminals. And you're stripping the police. They don't even want to go out. They respond to everything now. No proactive investigation on their part, stopping people, checking them out. If they see something, asking questions. You can't do that anymore. And look at what's happening. Oh yeah, one other question. Tell me, Senator, what did Obama do to help Chicago and the murderers and everything else? Easy answer. Nothing from what I understand in here. Trump isn't even president yet, and he's already offered federal help to help cut down on this murder and help patrol Chicago and stuff. He's done more for Chicago, or is attempting to do more for Chicago before he's even in office than Obama did in 8 years in office. You want all this turmoil. You pit one group against another, and that's what you want to do. And you do it all the time. You're very good at it. You know, the reason the Democrats do not want this situation rectified is because they can use it for their campaign that there needs to be more gun control. Under Democrats' theories, the strictest gun control laws, Chicago should have the lowest. It doesn't. New York City had a high murder rate, had a high criminal rate and everything else in the neighborhoods. Rudy Giuliani came in and cleaned up New York City. And all neighborhoods, white, black, Hispanic, doesn't make any difference. He helped clean up all the neighborhoods. But you won't give him credit for that. And now they're all going back downhill with de Blasio as mayor. Then the next thing, you liberal Democrats, you loved Occupy New York and Occupy Albany. People out there smoking their joints, their weeds, the drugs. They're destroying property, the park in Albany. Cost a lot of money to fix it up afterward. People urinating all over the place. That's all right. They have the right to protest. They have the right to protest. They don't have the right to destroy. They don't have the right to burn and loot. But you don't care. It's to help your narrative. People had to walk around them. Yet Albany DA refused to prosecute any of these that were given tickets or whatever. Why? Because most likely they vote Democrat. Last but not least, Obamacare, a total failure based upon one lie after another. And you know what all the lies were, Senator. We get to keep our doctors. It's going to lower our costs. Our costs have gone skyrocketing. Just look at Arizona, 116% increase this year in the cost of health insurance. You got states like Florida, California, and a lot of other states. Insurance companies are getting out. leaving one insurer for those states. I will tell you, the reason, and when the Republicans tried to put their 2 cents worth in, Obama told them, we don't want to hear from you. We won the election. At least the Republicans tried to get their stuff in. You said no. Now, Trump's going in. The Republicans are asking you to put what you think should be in there. You don't want anything to do with it. In other words, you like it your way or nobody's way. And I'll tell you another thing. You knew Obamacare was going to fail from the beginning. You can't add 20 million people and lower the cost. I don't care how you do it. It's mathematically impossible. It was a sham. But the objective was you were hoping that you would have another Democrat in the next 8 years, which thank goodness Hillary lost, so you could turn it into a one-payer system, the United States government controlling our health care across the country. Look at countries that have it. Canada. I know doctors that have moved from Canada to the United States because they couldn't practice in Canada. It takes 6 weeks to get a doctor's appointment. Here, I can get an appointment within a day or two. Sometimes the same day, if it's an emergency. You can't do that in Canada. Can't do that in a lot of countries that have it. This one-payer system, that's your whole intent. That's what you wanted. You're not getting it. I have a friend of mine. She now pays $673 a month for health insurance for herself. And she has to have it because she's got one medication that's $1,500 a month. She's lucky. She took a plan without a deductible. A lot of plans have deductibles, $6,000 a year. But you only have to pay $300 a month. No. Before you can use it, that $6,000 deductible, you have to figure that's $500 a month because you can't use your insurance until you've used your entire deductible. So that's $500 a month plus the $300. You're paying $800 actually a month for health insurance before you can even use it. That's horrible. More lies were put forward on Obamacare, especially from Nancy Pelosi. You have to pass it to know what's in it. You didn't want anybody to know what was in it. And the more people found out what was in it, they didn't want it. And the only reason you got so many people this year to sign up was because Trump ran. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had as many. Iran. You had no problem with Obama giving away everything to Iran to get an agreement and giving them billions of dollars, flying a plane over there with what, $1 billion or more in it, in cash. You have no problems with that. The deal meant more to you Democrats. You know, that deal was screwing Israel and our allies in the Middle East. Iran's the #1 terrorist country in the world. You know that. And we're giving them billions of dollars so they can continue this terrorist activity, continue with trying to build a nuclear bomb. It's only good for 10 years. Short-sighted, nobody knows how to negotiate. The other thing, you had no problem with Obama trading 5 top terrorists for 1 deserter, Bergdahl. No problem at all. That was, to you guys, that's a great deal. We got a serviceman back. Yeah, a traitor. For 5 terrorists who are back there again that are probably going to try to kill or already have killed more Americans. You don't care. We got Bergdahl. But you want to empty Gitmo. You don't care where these guys go. You don't care what they do. You just want to close it. How many lives are now put in jeopardy because of that trade? And then you have Hillary claiming that it was a protest in Benghazi. You know, it's just, you cover everything up. You didn't even give the Senate he didn't even give the Senate or anybody to even approve this transfer of the 5 for Bergdahl or anything else. Let the facts come out before the trade was done. The only time you've objected to Obama, otherwise you're right behind him, is when he sold out Israel to the United Nations. Couldn't you see it coming? I could. He's out to screw our allies. Has been since the day he got into office. Look at what he did in Poland. As soon as he got in there, pulled out all the missiles and stuff. Or the next country, or I forget which one it was. But he pulls that out, opens the door for Russia. And now, what's even better, all the Republicans are clamoring about how he sold out Israel. Trump clamoring about it. But yet, you Democrats, liberal Democrats, especially the liberal Democrat pundits on TV, now they're all backing what Trump or what Obama did. They think it's great. And they're Jewish, and they think it's great to screw over Israel. Makes you really think, doesn't it? The Republicans have more respect for Israel than the liberal Democrats do. Another question, what has the Obama administration done to protect the Christians in the Middle East? To bring them, get them out of there, get them into safe places. They don't want to go into these tent cities where the Muslims are, radical Muslims are. You don't know which is which because there's no venting or anything. Getting them a safe harbor. From what I see, nothing's been done. One of the big things I have a big problem with, and you Democrats, it's legal. I won't deny it's legal. But it's not morally right. And it's not right because of this great country has done more for the world than any other country in history. And that's to desecrate and burn our American flag. Everybody should be worshiping this flag, whether you like it or not. So you got disagreement with what somebody does or says in this country, or you don't like a certain policy. That's no reason to burn or desecrate the American flag. And the people that do it, and the reason you support them is, most of them are probably liberal Democrats. You know, they like to burn places, loot places. You have them burn the flag. You know, they won't stand for the national anthem. They don't want to stand good. Why don't they go to another country? Oh no, they wouldn't do that. Because they wouldn't be able to get away with what they do there. They'd go to jail in another country. Why don't you stand up for our flag? Say it may be legal, but it's not right. It shouldn't be done. Because you don't have the class to do that. Oh, that's right, you do have class. All lower. Believe in stripping the citizens of their votes by allowing illegals, aliens to vote. My vote is made void by an illegal immigrant who is not a U.S. citizen. U.S. citizens have the right to vote. not non-U.S. citizens. But yet, according to you, they don't even have to show proof that they're a citizen to vote. They can just go in and throw the switch for a Democrat. There needs to be. You're arguing over what Putin did? Why don't you look at what the illegals, the numbers that are voting, and don't tell me it's not happening. The border agents have stated they have found illegals with voter ID cards. How did they get them in order for them to vote? I know you don't want an investigation. You can't question them on it. Somebody walks in, I have a driver's license. That doesn't mean they are a U.S. citizen. That means they're in this country and they have a right to drive. But that does not mean they are a U.S. citizen and having the right to vote. When one votes, it takes away my right, my vote. It voids my vote. Why should my vote be discarded for somebody that's not even a U.S. citizen? Tell me that, Senator, and tell me it doesn't happen. It's happening all the time. They go in there, you can't ask them any questions, you can't do anything. A lot of times they don't even have to show ID. They just go and say, my name is such and such. Good, vote right here. That's got to end. Only U.S. citizens should be allowed to vote. Ones who have passed the test, taken the oath, right. And another thing, Sharia law shouldn't be allowed. If they believe in Sharia law, they shouldn't become U.S. citizens. Because that is superseding our Constitution and taking away rights. Our Constitution, both state and federal, need to be upheld and defended. Unlike New York, that strips its citizens of their state and federal constitutional rights. And the ones who are doing it are the liberal Democrats. One other thing. If it wasn't for California, President Trump would have won the popular vote. How many illegal aliens voted in California? Because they don't care. Everybody gets to vote. How many millions of illegal aliens voted in California? As soon as you lop out the California vote, she won by 2 million votes, but she carried California by 4 million. That's how she ended up with the popular vote. Because of California. You take the other 49 states. She didn't win the popular vote. She lost it. But how many illegal aliens voted in California? I'll bet a lot of them. But you don't care because they're Democrat. At least the Republicans care about Putin interfering with U.S. elections. But yet they didn't interfere with one vote. Was changed, was illegally counted or whatever. But you Democrats had a lot of them with the illegal aliens voting. According to the U.S. census, New York last year lost 840,000 people. New York State, as a liberal state, has a very generous welfare system. Now, if we lost 847,000 people to other states, tell me, we probably had more people leave the state than come into the state. So let's say another 100,000, 947,000 exited, but we got 100,000 new ones. How many of those people that left were taxpayers and paying taxes, and how many coming in because of our generous welfare system in this state we're now supporting? Good question, isn't it? As a summary, you Democrats believe in depriving litigants of their constitutional right to public trial when facing imprisonment. You believe in litigants that stripping them of their constitutional and statutory right to a jury trial when facing imprisonment. You even believe in stripping little children, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, that go to family court where it's sealed, but they're being stripped of their constitutional rights. And one of them is competent assistance of counsel. Most of these attorneys representing these kids, all they want to do is they want to be Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. Senator, I would suggest you read through my paperwork, my website, and the documentation I have, and tell me where it's wrong. What are you going to do about these illegal trials? What are you going to do about the illegal people deprived of their right to a public trial, their right to a jury trial? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're probably not going to do anything because it's the liberal Democrats that are doing it. Hopefully Trump will appoint somebody that's going to clean up New York State, because it needs to be cleaned up. And these secret trials, the extortion, the case fixing that's going on needs to end. Don't you believe, Senator, that all these judges that are holding these closed court proceedings should be incarcerated if they're doing it? Why not? They're violating the law. The statute says the family court is open, but they're closing it. How about these judges that are holding trials, sentencing people to jail and all this other stuff, which under federal law they're entitled to a jury trial? Don't you think these judges should be prosecuted and sent to jail? Do you believe these hearing examiners and JHOs, who are not authorized under the Constitution, and no, it's not a procedural issue, like the judges want to say. It's not. The Constitution, the New York State Constitution, is very specific. Don't you think it should be followed? And people that violate it should be prosecuted for denial of due process and equal protection law, both under state and federal standards? Of course you don't. You're a liberal Democrat. One more thing, Senator Schumer, or actually a couple more things. Do you believe in stripping litigants of their statutory rights in criminal proceedings and their constitutional rights? I've been stripped of mine consistently by Albany DA, former DA Saul Greenberg, another liberal Democrat, liar, who does not believe in constitutional rights, and his two assistants, Christopher Horn is one, and I can't think, oh, Dixon, the other one. They don't care about the law. None of you Democrats do. Investigate my case. Everything is on the website. Transcripts, everything. Grand jury transcripts. The illegal actions taken against me by you liberal Democrats. You're also something else, but I won't mention it. But let's go on to a couple of other things. I got little notes here. You talk about make America sick again. That's what Trump is going to do. You guys blew it with Obamacare. You lied to get it passed. You didn't ask for any help from the Republicans. You didn't even want them involved. Obama won, that's it. Now it's going to get repealed. It'll make the United States healthy again. We're not going to have this high insurance so you can turn it into a one-payer system that you Democrats have been aching for years to do. And maybe the insurance companies will make some money instead of losing money and having to leave the states because they can't make any money. Leaving a one insurance company so the rates go sky high. That's what you guys wanted. Don't kid anybody about it. IRS. You've used the IRS against Republicans, the Tea Party. The IRS is controlled by Democrats. They protect people like Yodel and different companies. You know, Yodel is ripping people off, and I go through as to how they're bearing tens of millions of dollars each year. Their numbers don't add up. Why aren't they being investigated? Are they being protected by the liberal Democrats? Because they're illegally wiretapping phones for them? Good question, isn't it? I think they are. Do you believe in Albany they named the Justice Building the Robert Abrams Justice Building after Attorney General Robert Abrams, a liberal Democrat, who argued in court in every one of the cases about having a public trial, a jury trial, a court of proper jurisdiction, the violation of constitutional and statute rights, how these statutes don't comply with the law. They have fought every one. They don't want the courts ruling on them. If I remember correctly, you, Cuomo, Abrams, all took an oath to defend and protect the Constitution. The only time you guys want to protect it is when it's in your favor. Otherwise, you want to trash it. Just like you guys love when people burn our flag. That's wrong. And you know it, and I know it, and everybody else knows it. Except for the liberal Democrats, who thinks it's great. Oh, and then last but not least, the intelligence communities. Tell me they didn't know about what was going on with Hillary's server. They kept that hush. Then they claim nobody hacked it. They have covered up for her since day one. Now our intel agencies are trying to sandbag Trump, just like Obama with all these latest things he's pulling, like they did at the UN with Israel, the boat people coming from Cuba. He's doing everything he can to put, if the Republicans say, put landmines out for Trump. It won't work in the long run. Get over it. You guys have destroyed this country in 8 years. You have, like this, Trump may be a threat to national security. The threats to national security were Obama and Clinton with her server. You know it and I know it. But it's cover up, cover up, cover up. What has Obama done? Race relations are worse in this country than they ever been. Because of Obama and the liberal Democrats. Because you pit one group against another. You don't believe in law and order. You do not believe in the Constitution. You want to turn this into a socialist country where you guys, you liberal Democrats, control everything. You sell out this country. You allowed Clinton to sell out this country through her Clinton Foundation. That ought to be investigated, and every dime that's in it should be taken and put in the National Treasury. Go for to help pay down the debt that they caused. And Obama and you liberal Democrats complained about George Bush with the national debt. Let's put it this way. The only reason Clinton had a balanced budget, I'm talking Bill Clinton when he was president, was because of Newt Gingrich. The only reason. Because he made sure the budget balanced. Who controlled the Senate and the House of Representatives when Obama was in? The Democrats. And what did he do? He's put us in more debt than the past 43 presidents. His debt doubled our national debt. His stimulus package was a joke. Obama, in my opinion, was a joke. He did nothing for this country except put us more and more in debt. One thing I can say about you Democrats, you love to tax and you love to spend money. If you take in $1, you'll make sure you spend $1.50 or $2. You cannot live within a budget. And you blame George Bush when he had a deficit. Who controlled the House and the Senate at the time? The Democrats. He had to work with you. And you wouldn't give him anything to keep Iraq safe. Now look what's happened. You don't care about this country. All you care about is turning it into a socialist state where everybody has to rely on the government. The United States is the greatest country, the freest country in the world. And you Democrats want to take it away. It's not going to happen. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, will make sure of that.